Good evening, everyone. Sifting through a year's worth of Chronicle programs and selecting our favorites is no easy task. Frankly, it's an embarrassment of riches. It is also a reminder of the generosity of the thousands of people each year who share their stories with us and who trust us to share those stories with you. We begin tonight with one of those tales that combines all the elements of a classic New England yarn: a man, a boat, and a dream.
I started this project in the late 80s, and I gave myself 5 years. And 5 years came and went, and I gave myself 10 years.
More than 30 years later, Harold Arndt's backyard project, an 80-ton, 100-foot steel schooner, remains unfinished, marooned in the woods.
You come to the woods and you see this, and it's like Noah's Ark, but in the woods on the Maine coast.
Twain Braden first encountered the Island Rover in the 90s as a writer for Ocean Navigator magazine. His article told the inspiring tale of a self-taught shipbuilder using surplus Navy steel to build a massive vessel in his backyard in Freeport, Maine. The ultimate goal? Educational voyages for students.
I was just struck by his animism, his enthusiasm for the project, and what he wanted to do with it, take this boat sailing with kids. It just seemed like everything was great about the project with one little problem, that he built it in the woods, but that was for dealing with down the road.
Unfortunately, the road would prove rocky. Over the years Harold was working on his boat, his neighborhood of rustic seasonal camps was changing.
And in that summer community, there were 6 of us that decided to stay here year-round, where there wasn't even a road plowed in the wintertime.
Well, different now.
We have over 200 here now.
$1 million waterfront homes and an increasingly suburbanized neighborhood now surround Harold, blocking the Island Rover's passage to the sea.
And different kind of people came in, different financial and social aspirations and goals, and his boat became an anomaly. So now he's talking to people who don't know him, don't know his kids, don't know his boat, and he's a problem for them.
Former town councilman Ed Bradley notes the dramatic changes in Freeport over the last 40 years, from sleepy fishing village to retail mecca and bedroom community for professionals working in Portland. It is a Freeport that is less connected to its maritime heritage, a Freeport that may not have room for a Harold Arndt anymore. The newcomers grumbled about the noise and mess, and Harold's project came to a dead halt, fetched up on the shoals of litigation and zoning violations.
You can take Harold both ways. I love Harold. He's one of the smartest guys you'll ever meet, okay? He is his own worst enemy, and he would, I think, admit that. I don't think he denies that or avoids it. He just says, it was my project. I did it. I have a right then to determine what happens to it.
Our show's about magnificent obsessions, if you will, people who have sort of outsized dreams and pursue them against all odds. Would that describe you, Harold?
Perfectly. I've also been called an eccentric old man.
Eccentric, perhaps, but Harold Arndt is not crazy. A marine biologist by training, he has worked at Bowdoin College and Bath Iron Works. The design and innovative construction of the Island Rover is widely admired among local watermen. With no previous experience, Harold created steel bending techniques experts thought impossible.
My boat designer brings students out here to show them that everything that's in the textbooks may not be correct.
Among those impressed by Harold's skill and vision, Carter Becker.
I've never seen a steel vessel so fair, so well built, with such classic designs and lines. That's the thing that brought me into the project.
Becker, a marine contractor, was brought in to figure out how to move the ship, but he ended up helping Harold finish the hull. He also bought a piece of property less than half a mile away he deems perfect for launching the boat. In return, Becker's been given part ownership of the Island Rover. The plan? To float the boat out on a high tide and complete its construction at a nearby boatyard.
It's not rocket science. Around the world, things like this are done on a daily basis.
But the situation remains in a legal stalemate. Some of Harold's supporters worry that the longer the Island Rover remains stuck in the woods, the more likely it will end up in a scrap heap.
The great sadness would be it could be cut up in a few days. So 30 years of effort and workmanship and quality to build something that's so close to being done, to then destroy it? What a waste. What a sad waste of so much great creative effort.
Time does march on, as we know. In your heart of hearts, do you think you're going to get through this town difficulty and you're going to get a chance to see this float?
With those guys behind me, I am very, very sure that we will get this in the water. Will I live long enough to see it totally outfitted under full sail? I hope, Christ, I do, but I don't know. I'm 81.
After 2.5 years of debate and demands, this past September, the Freeport Maine Coastal Waters Commission denied Harold's application to launch his boat. Harold, his attorney, and his supporters are now considering taking their appeal directly to Freeport citizens, seeking a voter referendum on whether he should finally be allowed to see his dream launched.